Welcome back. So today we are going to do the preview of the 3 midweek games that we're going to have in terms of match week number. I believe it's now going to be 27. And I did say last week that it was 25, and technically it wasn't. It was actually match week 26. But we have 3 games that's going to be happening on Wednesday. But all 3 of these games that is involved MLS team aren't the only MLS team that's going to be in action on Wednesday. In fact, we have 2 Canadian team that is going to be playing in the Canadian Championship, that is Montreal and Toronto FC. And we, of course, will have the Seattle Sounders take on Lyon in the League Cup final, which I have decided that I am going to do a review of the League Cup final. And speaking of the League Cup, there were a big announcement made this morning about the League Cup, and this is something that I don't think a lot of people saw coming, but in some way this is kind of what there's been this talk about, how, there's always potentially a merger between MLS and Liga MX, and that, recently we have seen a lot of more close tie between both of these leagues, where there's more competition, where both of these leagues are basically playing in a tournament style ways. And the League Cup, of course, was one of the reasons, but now it seemed like in 2023 it is going to not only expand it, but every single team from Liga MX and MLS is going to be playing in the League Cup. And that it's going to start in 2023, where both Liga MX and MLS team, which by then we're going to have 47 teams that's going to be playing this competition. And both of these leagues are actually going to take this competition very seriously. So serious that they're actually going to be pausing their season a month because of this. And in some way, when I also look at this new format, it really kind of reminds me of the MLS's back tournament, only this time it's kind of like an MLS and Liga MX kind of way. And I also said before that League Cup, before it was kind of a meaningless kind of tournament, and it seems like it's kind of a cash cow tournament. And when you look at how this tournament is, it does still seems like it's kind of a cash cow and a money grab kind of tournament. But what is big about this tournament is that there is actually going to be Concacaf Champion League spot up for grab, because besides the fact that every club in MLS and Liga MX is going to complete, and I'll talk a little bit more about, it will be kind of a World Cup style tournament a little bit later, but there's going to be 3 Concacaf Champions League spot that is going to up for grabs, which brings us to the new CCL format, which does create a little bit of a change. I mean, the CCL format was kind of, or the new CCL format was kind of announced last year, but this is kind of just an adjustment in terms of the new CCL format that will start in 2024. So what happened starting in 2024 in terms of the CONCACAF Champions League is that 27 team is going to involve, with 22 of them entering round 1 and 5 of them will be entering round of 16. And in terms of the first round, of those 22 team will make up a 4 MLS club, 2 League Cup team that are the runner-up and third place finisher, 5 Liga MX club, 2 Canadian Premier League club, US Open Cup winner, Canadian Championship winner, 5 Central American Cup club, and 2 Caribbean Cup club that are finished in second and third place of that competition. And the round of 16, you got the MLS Cup winner, you got the League Cup winner, you got the Liga MX winner, you got the 1 Central American Cup winner, and the Caribbean Cup winner. And I also forgot to mention the League Cup is now going to be organized by CONCACAF, which means that I guess, in the future, when we talk about how in the League Cup there's going to be some crazy kind of shithousery thing and kind of those classic CCL moment, I guess we can say that, you've been CONCACAF in terms of whenever there's those kind of incident that is happening in the League Cup, because now the fact that CONCACAF basically owns this competition, and hence that's why, this does kind of connect in terms of the new CCL format that is going to be starting in 2024. But yeah, going back to what I said about it will be kind of a World Cup style tournament. Now, I still haven't heard exactly what kind of style is it going to be. Is it just going to be just straight on a knockout tournament, or the fact that there's going to be some group stages? And this is also where I go back to what I said about the MLS's back tournament, where the MLS's back tournament, if you remember from last year, was a World Cup style tournament where you have groups stages before you have a knockout kind of tournament, and it seems like it's going to be the same case. And it's also going to be interesting to see, when they do this World Cup style tournament, I think there's going to be a draw that is going to determine, and it's Also going to be interesting to see how the draw is going to do. Is it going to be like what we saw in the MLS's back tournament, where it's just kind of a random draw, and Eastern Conference team can pair up with Western Conference team, and the vice versa and so forth? I guess probably not going to be, because I think maybe they're going to try to limit in terms of the travel, and they're going to trying to maybe just put one part of Western Conference team and then one part of Eastern Conference team. But yeah, overall, my feelings in terms of this is that, again, I mean, I know it still kind of sounds like a cash cow kind of tournament in some way, but I kind of in some way love this League Cup format. It really started to bring me back MLS's tournament vibe, where how much I enjoy the MLS's back tournament, and I know will never get that kind of tournament, unless unfortunately we're gonna hopefully not get into another pandemic. But this is kind of very similar to that, except this time both MLS team and Liga MX team is going to evolve. And what's also great about this is that, for teams that have never got a chance to compete in the Concacaf Champions League, this is a big opportunity to do so, because you don't even need to win this competition to make it to CCL. I think starting next year, when the League Cup does have a CCL spot up for grabs, the winner of course will move on into CCL, but that's kind of when the tournament you have to win the win the League Cup to make it into CCL. This is not the case. I mean, you can literally get into second place, and I think there's also going to be a third place game, because with the way that there's free CCL spot, looks like that third place game is gonna be in terms of who exactly is going to get one of those free CCL spot. And that, again, this is a great chance for some of these MLS teams potentially could get one of those spot, and maybe for these teams that might not have a chance in terms of participating in the Concacaf Champions League, this is definitely a way to do so. And I'm also going to be interested to see how how teams are going to value this tournament. I mean, these teams are going to really going to be value a lot in this tournament. And it's also going to be interesting to see, will this also trigger potentially the league maybe changing the roster rule a little bit, and maybe kind of put some limitation in terms of the salary cap, because one of the big problem for the league, and one of the reason why I think a lot of MLS team has really struggled in the Concacaf Champions League, and the fact that they haven't recently, they have definitely done better, but the problem with teams that have been participating in CCL, and how it's kind of a bit of a headache for them, because they also have to focus on league play, and it hasn't really turns out very well for them, is because the squad for MLS is not as deep as what we're going to see in Liga MX. And if this current rule still stick by the time this League Cup does happen in 2023, I don't see how MLS team is going to do really well in this tournament. So something tells me that, even though this tournament, it is going to be a pause in terms of the season, you're still going to be adding a lot of games that is going to happen. And because of the way that this also means that, with us the season being paused a month, that means the season is going to be even more congested. And depending on whether, if they do start the season maybe earlier, or probably I'm assuming they'll probably go back to what they've been always been doing, which is the season beginning in March, and then eventually it's going to end in December. And unless if they decide to not do that, then I do have a concern with the way that the schedule is going to be very condensed. And these teams, with the squad that they have, it's just not enough to trying to compete. And it's going to start to turn into a survival of the fittest kind of ways, and I really don't want that to happen, because of the way that we have so many talented team in the league. And to win this tournament, and maybe even win the ultimate goal of an MLS season, which is winning MLS Cup, should not be survival of the fittest. It should be about able to have the most talented squad and able to lift that famous old trophy in December. So yeah, it will be very interesting to see from now on and then on, what is MLS going to do. Are they going to maybe restrict the rules a little bit in terms of salary cap, and expand the roster as we head into this brand new tournament that, again, I'm kind of excited about it, and I'm definitely going to be excited to basically cover that once this tournament begins. But that being said, let us now talk about the free games that's going to be happening in terms of the MLS action, and all three of these games are going to be happening right around the same time because obviously with the League Cup final taking place at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, all of these games need to be kicked off before that. I mean, MLS do not want to have a conflict where they're going to schedule a game that is going to be also around the same time where the League Cup is taking place, and hence that's why all these games are going to be Eastern Conference game. And we start off with Inter Miami taking on Nashville SC. That will start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff is 7:38 p.m. local time. Miami has a 9-5-10 record after they lost 4-0 against the Red Bulls at home. While for Nashville SC, they actually suffer only their third loss of the season by losing 2-1 to TFC on the road, and their record is 10-11-3. Top goal scorer for both of these teams. For Miami, you got Gonzalo Higuain with 9 goals, followed by Robbie Robinson with 4 goals, and then Rodolfo Pizarro with 3 goals, Brett Shea with 2 goals, and Indiana Vasilette finish it off in terms of the top 5 goals scored with 2 goals. For Nashville SC, you got CJ Sapon and Hani Mukhtar both tied with 10 goals apiece. They got Randall Leao with 4 goals, Alex Muyl with 3 goals, and Junda Kaditz finished with 2 goals to round the top 5 in terms of the top goals scored for both of these teams. And yeah, for Miami, they definitely wants to bounce back after that nightmare of a game they had against the Red Bulls, but it's not going to be easy because they're pretty much going to be without 2 of their starting center back because one of them is suspended because of yellow card accumulation, and one of them of course got sent off in the last game against the New York Red Bulls. And it's definitely not an ideal way when you're about to play against one of the toughest team in the league, and a team that is Nashville SC wants to bounce back after suffering a rare loss and had a rare off night against TFC. And I'm pretty sure some of those attackers are going to really be very excited with the way that they're going to be playing against a Miami team that is going to be very short-handed at the back. Now, moving on, in terms of the next match, is the Chicago Fire taking on the New England Revolution, as this game will start at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff is 7:08 p.m. local time. The Chicago Fire, yeah, they're pretty much in see you next season mode now after having a disastrous 6-game road streak where they have lost 5 out of the 6 games during that 6-game road trip. But the good news is they are finally back at home at Soldier Field, and the reward after going for that 6-game road trip is that they have to play against the best team in the league. I mean, that is just rough, considering the fact that, finally we get a chance to be playing at home. Oh, wait, no, now we are going to be playing against the best team in the league, that is the New England Revolution, who has a 17-5-4 record, and they definitely are going to be looking to try to get all 3 points after a frustrating 1-1 draw against Columbus at home, where, besides a mistake from the crew backline that gifted the Revs a goal in that game, they couldn't solve Eloy Rome that night, and only were able to put one past him to draw 1-1 and draw points at home. But in terms of the top goal scorer for both of these teams, you got Lukas Stojanovic with 7 goals, followed by Aliseda with 3 goals. Then you got Robert Beric with 3 goals, Shimizar Frankowski, who's no longer with this team, with 2 goals, and then you finish off with Boris Sekulic with 2 goals. For the New England Revolution, you got Gustavo Bo currently have 12 goals, followed by Adam Buxall with 11 goals. Then you got Tejan Buchanan with 7 goals, followed by Emmanuel Boateng and Theo Bunbury to finish off with 2 goals. And there's no doubt that the Revs are going to be heavy favorites again coming into this one. And like what I said about Nashville, where they definitely want to have a bounce-back performance and are probably very angry after they lost that game against CFC, New England is going to look for a bounce-back performance and are going to be pretty angry. The fact that they dropped points and they're still trying to not only win the Supporters' Shield, but now maybe even chase some history in terms of trying to break the record for the most point in a regular season. And I think down the line, I'm also starting to be making a video talking about New England and their road to potentially breaking the record for the most points in the MLS regular season, and maybe even do a comparison to LAFC and in terms of how they are in terms of whether or not if they can potentially break that record that LAFC set back in 2019. But now moving on into the last game on this board is the first of 2 New York Darby that's going to be happening this week. Yes, there's actually going to be 2 New York Darby, and this game originally was supposed to happen in August 21st, first a couple of weeks ago, but obviously we know what happened in that game, and the fact that, yeah, basically New York was kind of hit with the effect of Hurricane Ida, and that game was about to be start, but unfortunately they kind of called the game off because the field was just absolutely unplayable with the amount of water it has already took up. So this game is now rescheduled to this day, which the kickoff time of this game will be 8:08 p.m. local time, and it will start at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And keep in mind, this game is only going to be on local television compared to where, that game on August 21st was supposed to be scheduled on national television. But I think the kickoff time is, well, the start time is going to be the same, but the kickoff time, I think that game was like 8:25 p.m. Local time, but this one is going to be a little bit earlier at 8:08 p.m. local time. This, of course, is the 19th New York Derby, with the Red Bulls leads the series 10-2-6. The last 5 New York Derby, it was NYCFC winning 5-2 against the Red Bulls, before the Red Bulls winning 1-0 against NYCFC. And then NYCFC, of course, winning 2-1 against the Red Bulls, before the Red Bulls winning 2-1 against NYCFC. And then it was a rare 1-1 draw between both of these teams in the New York Derby. And, in these last couple of New York Derby, it's definitely much closer than what we saw in the first couple of New York Derby, where it was pretty one-sided and the Red Bulls were by far the better team. But, knowing the fact that NYCFC, of course, have won that New York Derby, and it seems like the last New York Derby has been in favor of the home team, this could be maybe the case if the pattern goes. But that being said, coming into this game, no doubt NYCFC is going to be the favorites against a Red Bull side that, as bad as, they're still hanging on to their fringe playoff chances, they got a big win against Inter Miami, and hopefully maybe they can use that to help them potentially push their way to get a big New York Derby win. Because if they can get a win in this one, then maybe they can start a hot streak and try to maybe get themselves back into the playoff race in the Eastern Conference. Although, that being said, it is not easy to try to get back into the playoff race in the Eastern Conference, and especially with the fact that there is tons of teams in the Eastern Conference that are red hot right now, and that, for those teams that is like in 10th or 11th place, they better get their acts together soon and hope that those teams above them start to cool off, because, the way that it is, even if some of these teams go on a good run, they could potentially still maybe not make it because of the way that some of the teams above them are also red hot right now. But there you have it. That is pretty much it for the preview of these free games, and also kind of my thoughts about the new League Cup format and the new CCL format that will start in 2024. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of these free games, and most importantly, talk about this big news that was announced this morning about the League Cup and the Concacaf Champions League in the future. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.